Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of TEDxMellenStreet Live. We come to you with another awesome guest person who is a speaker on the TEDxMellenStreet stage. And today we have Emily Kramer Throckmorton. And I'm so excited to talk to her about the things that she's doing in her world. And before we do, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Connected Compass. With the founder is Tanya Fields, and they are out here. They're on a mission to increase minority participation in cybersecurity and technology. So they're all about that STEM world and getting people involved in STEM. So once again, I am your host, Sacha Walton, and actually the event curator for TEDxMellenStreet. And the event is going to be on November the 18th at the Historic American Theater. And I'm excited. And I can't wait to allow you to see everything the speakers are going to have to bring. And I'm so excited. But I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm just going to go ahead and bring up Emily. And we're going to talk about her and her world. And I'm going to say, hey, Emily, how are you?
Hi, good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How has your week been?
Everything's been very good. We're very busy here at our gym with all these exciting things coming up. So I'm excited to share what we've been up to lately.
Awesome, awesome. So let's tell the world, all the people who's going to be watching, let's tell them, who is Emily Kramer Throckmorton?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. I am 31 years old and I own a functional fitness gym here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And I have been coaching for almost a decade now, all different types of individuals, all different walks of life. My true passion is working with individuals with long-term impairments. That's kind of my specialty. So down the road, I'll be able to tell you more about a program we run here in our gym, which is Kaizen Athletics, which is the name of our gym. And then I have this amazing program that I'm very proud of, and that's called Kaizen Adaptive Training. And I would like to say that that's my identity. I got my work ethic from my dad, I think, and I work very hard. My morning starts at 4 a.m. and I get home usually around 7:30. So that's kind of my identity, is either working out or coaching or hosting community events. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So I know that when people are dedicated and passionate about what they're doing, there has to be a backstory that got you involved in it. So how did you get involved with fitness or adaptive training and everything that you're doing right now?
Well, I think I've worked every job there is since I was very little. And I think that ultimately that leads to great ethic. But for me, I started coaching early on when I was in high school. I tried the whole YMCA thing and getting little certs here and there. But I would say my career really started in 2016 when I became a CrossFit coach at my now husband's gym. And I think that's when it really took off for me. But before that, I was working every job there was. I was waitressing, or I was working at the hospital, thought I wanted to become a firefighter at one point. There were all these jobs that I worked, and ultimately it always led to me being back at the gym, and I couldn't wait to go back to the gym. And so I knew at that point that my passion needed to be down that road in some capacity. So I then started my career in 2016. And it wasn't until 2020 that I opened my own gym and I started my adaptive program, which is truly a huge passion of mine. And that is something that I'm extremely proud of. But it's incredible, especially here in our community in Virginia Beach, how active everyone wants to be. And they really are very close to us. We consider them our family. So it's really cool to watch this community want to be more healthy and aware of how they're taking care of their bodies, or and just to be part of their lives means so much. So I'm exactly where I need to be, and I've worked all those jobs leading up to this because this is where I truly belong.
Awesome, awesome. And even with those jobs leading into it, not only with the work ethic, but also with, knowing how to deal with people, and it sounds like
Absolutely.
you're so passionate about just being around others and helping them. And sometimes those skill sets are, always nourished. And when we're going through certain types of positions and jobs, but then we see the beauty of it comes out when we really find our purpose and be into what we're doing, which I believe that you definitely have found.
Oh, absolutely. And you're right. Coaching, I would say, is 100% psychologist as well.
Yeah.
You're definitely talking to them. You get to know them so much. So yes, I think having a personality that, you want to get to know these people, not just on an athletic standpoint, but also, their entire lives. I think that's what brings them back to, is knowing that they, you care about them, not just from a sports standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. So, adaptive training, adaptive program. So, for all
Yeah.
those out there who don't know what that is, can you tell us a little more about it?
Yeah, so I would say the best way to describe it is that we're trying to bridge the gap between healthcare and fitness. So an adaptive athlete is basically an individual that can't perform sports in an able-bodied sports. So something that you and I can compete in, something where an individual has like a long-term impairment. So whether that's a stroke or an amputee or a spinal cord injury athlete, they kind of don't have a lot of what's next. And so I started my program, Kaizen Adaptive Training, in 2020, when I had a privilege of working out with a handful of wounded warriors, and they all had prosthetics on, whether that was a lower extremity or an upper extremity, and they were doing the exact same workout as me. They were deadlifting, box jumps, running, all with me. And that was kind of when I knew I wanted to create a place where these athletes could continue to do that. Because I don't think that there's a lot of things out there. And now that I've been doing this for 3 years, there's definitely a disconnect for these individuals when they get done with physical therapy or occupational therapy. They don't really have, hey, this is what's next for you. This is how you can keep moving your body and learning new ways to do that. And so I'm very, very proud of the fact that we have the support of different hospitals or physical therapy departments, different medical professionals. They're all sending us their patients, which never in a million years would I expect that to happen. But basically, they're sending their patients to us so that they can relearn how to lift a barbell again, or how to do a push-up again if they're a spinal cord injury. And that's like really, really amazing to see. So the adaptive program is definitely something that people need to know that it's out there. So that they don't get stuck in a rut. They're not at home depressed. There's so many negative effects to not having a what's next. What's
Yeah.
next? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing. Awesome. And being in our area, because, we're here locally in the Hampton Roads area. And for those who don't know about Hampton Roads, we have a phenomenal area. We're like 7 cities connected, whether it's by
Oh
the
yeah.
highway or the tunnels. And we're
Yep.
all connected, but we're a big
Yeah.
military area as well. And so for you working with the Wounded
Absolutely.
Warriors and with the adaptive training program, whether they're wounded warriors or just people who are who are not in the
In
military
the
or haven't been,
community.
yeah, and
Correct.
just in the
Hmm.
community, it's very, very important that you're doing what you're doing. And so I really commend you for that. I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm thinking like, wow, you know what? Who knows? You could be a trainer for the Paralympics. I mean, it's like, how
Yeah.
far more can you go? But
Yeah.
you're actually providing a service for something, not just a service, but a solution to
Absolutely.
something that is not readily available for so many people. And when you think about fitness, everybody is kind of goes into the same type of fitness. Either
Hmm.
you're cross training or you're doing Zumba aerobics or you have your gym, but to narrow it down and niche it down to a community of people that you're not only saying, hey, you can still do this and be physically fit, but you're also saying, you know what, it's no longer, you don't have to be trapped mentally
Sure.
and being down, and you can still live and live abundantly even in what
Absolutely.
you're going through. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's really cool too, because so these athletes, these adaptive athletes, they come in Monday through Thursday, 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. But sometimes they'll come into our Saturday community workouts, or they'll have a lot of like able-bodied athletes that are hanging out with them during their workout, or they'll be working out with other able-bodied athletes as well. And I think that's the really cool thing to watch too, is you have an individual that may be in a wheelchair, but they're doing the exact same workout as you and I in the same space, and they feel so included, and they're not like off in the corner doing their own thing. They're part of something. And I think, that's the change that I want to make, is that they should be treated no different than you or I. They should be included, and they should be, shown that, oh, you can still do a burpee, or you can still do a pull-up. I'm just going to show you. It may look a little bit different than how you or I do it, but they're still in the room doing it with us. And I think there's something so beautiful to that.
That's awesome. And I love that
Yeah.
you brought up be included, because it takes me to my next question. So, we know our theme for TEDx Mellon Street is the power of inclusion. So how important is the power of inclusion in your daily life and in society?
Well, I've seen it firsthand, obviously, with these athletes coming in, not just from the physical aspect, but also the mental aspect as well. And down the road when we have our talk, I'll be speaking a lot about this as well. But to feel included in a group is the most beautiful thing that I've ever seen. And when we hold workouts here, we do big community workouts here on Saturdays, and we have all different walks of life, every different fitness level. We have somebody here that's 76 years old, or we have somebody that's 12 years old. It doesn't really matter. So whether they're an adaptive athlete or an able-bodied athlete, to be part of a group, and like you get to kind of come together over shared challenges, like a workout, for instance, like, maybe it's a partner workout, and they get to experience that together, and they feel included. There is something so special about that, because they feel like, they're going through something together. They're not isolated. They're not feeling like they're alone. They get to have that shared challenge together, which is really important. But including each other in a group setting, I have seen people go from, they don't speak, they don't say much, to all of a sudden they're hanging out together outside of class, or they're going to a brewery together, or, they're going to get, food after class. Whatever it is, you go from somebody that's super introvert that doesn't say much, to all of a sudden they're, hanging out, being an extrovert, and they're getting to, build up their confidence. And I think that's such a huge thing as well. And I truly think that's because you're included in a group. And it's easy to go to like a big gym, a Globo gym of some sort, and, everyone's plugged in with their headphones or doing their own thing in the corner. And you don't see much of that inclusion. You don't see much of that camaraderie or community. But then you come to a facility like ours, no one's listening. We're all listening to the same music together. No one's has pods in their ears. Everyone's, suffering together, and they're, fist bumping each other. You're listening to music, and all of a sudden you have that sense of community and camaraderie. And all of a sudden everyone feels included. No one's excluded from anything. So it's the power of fitness and sweating together. It is such a beautiful thing.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna have to come visit and just say, hey,
We would love to have you.
Yeah, I just love that, because it's what I feel that's so important about it is that, like you said, it's the camaraderie and the community, bringing people together over, what they experience in so many different ways that are different, but yet they're the same. And when they can just be in that, whether you're able-bodied together with, those who are not, and it's just like bringing those together and creating that community aspect is so phenomenal. And I commend you for everything. I'm just so excited about what you're doing now and just learning about it, as well as what could come later. And I'm just, I always like to look down the road sometimes for people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. They're going to have so much coming for them. And I just like, I just can't wait to see what all unfolds for you and what you're doing. It's so amazing. And once again, everybody, thank you for watching TEDx Mellon Street Live. I'm here with Emily Kramer Throckmorton. Am I pronouncing that last part correctly?
Yeah. You're fine. I recently, I got married a year ago, and I'm still holding strong. My last name Kramer is tied to me in so many ways with the business, so I just hold on to that. And my husband's part of me, and I'm still who I am. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, that's wonderful. It's so wonderful. And so, and guys, thank you for watching. And remember, November the 18th at the Historic American Theater, we will have TEDx Mellon Street, and Emily will be one of the speakers there and talking about the amazing talk that she's going to have. And, one last question I have. So, and I think you probably answered the question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. How important is your talk to you?
Oof. Well, I never in a million years thought that I would be doing a TEDx talk of any sort. And I feel very, very blessed to be able to put our story and our passion and everything that we're doing out there to the world. And it's a funny time in my life because my husband laughs at this all the time, but I keep putting myself in these situations where, I'm applying for different things, or I'm like, somebody had sent this to me through Instagram or Facebook, and they said, I think you'd be perfect for this, inclusion talk with everything you're doing. And I was like, all right, I'm going to apply, but there's no way in a million years that I'm going to get this, and it's one of those things I sat on Zoom thinking, all right, I'm going to do this interview, but I'm never going to get it. And you just, the self-doubt, and you just keep putting yourself in these positions with self-doubt. And then lo and behold, you get to be part of these things, and you get the email that says, you've been accepted. And it's like your jaw drops, because you just never in a million years would think that you would get an opportunity as big as this. And I consider this very, very big. Explaining to my family what a TEDx talk was, they weren't sure what it was at first, but majority of people out there, they're so blown away by this because it's such a huge opportunity. So I think I'm just in a stage in my life where I just am like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? You put yourself out there, and either they say no or they say yes. So it's and my husband laughs because people just keep saying yes. So I'm going to keep shooting for the stars.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's one. It's a wonderful place. I mean, just being in a position where they're always saying yes. And why shouldn't they? You're an amazing person. And,
Thank you.
Sometimes we do come into the point of our lives where it's just like, you're in that yes season. It's like, hey,
Yeah, and
everything
it won't always be
that's
that
good.
way.
It won't,
Right.
but
Right.
embrace it and enjoy the ride while it's here,
Absolutely.
So thank you again so much for being here, Emily.
Thank
And
you.
I can't wait to meet you. I mean, I can meet you anytime, but we definitely can meet each other in November.
Yes.
But I'll try my
Yes, we're
best
very
to get over
excited.
to your gym sooner than that. And thank you again, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
so
Bye.
much.
You're welcome.